Greetings everybody and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So anyways, we're back here to do Ben's album challenge tonight, Sunday night, 8 o'clock. So this is an album he gave to me after we did the last one, which was Zebra. I think it was Zebra was last. So this one, the band is called Omega. The album, Hall of the Floaters in the Sky, released in 1975. So for those of you who don't know what we do here on Ben's Album Challenge, Ben is a subscriber of mine who gives me an album. Every second week we do Ben's Album Challenge. He gives me an album that for the most part I've never heard before. And I listen to the album and then I kind of review it. And I give him my favorite song on the track and about how I feel about the album in general. So this album is, I did a little bit of research into this band because I was a bit curious about it and found out they were Hungarian, which is kind of funny because the guy who introduced me to most of the music that I've listened to throughout most of my life, at least early on in my life, was my best friend, John. He was also Hungarian. So that is kind of an unusual thing for me. So this band formed in 1962, and they continued right up until 2021, when I think in 2020 and then again in 2021, three of the members who had been in the group for very long time passed away. So I believe it was in 1971 that their lineup kind of solidified. So before that they had people coming and going for about 9 years, and then they solidified, and the same 5 guys played in the band for the next 40 years. That's a rarity. Trust me, that is very rare. They made a lot of their albums in Hungarian, but they also made quite a bit of English albums, and they actually made a German album too, I believe, plus a ton of live albums. So they're considered the biggest band in Hungarian history. So I did not know about them. I'd never heard of them before. The album cover is quite unique. Looks like a harpy eagle, a drawing of a harpy eagle holding a sword. So anyways, there's 6 tracks on this album, all of them very good. I like them all. Maybe the Hall of the Floaters, which was the shortest track and the title track of the album, was one I probably disliked the most, or I liked the least, let's put it that way. The opening track, Moving World, it came out quickly. Like, they started out of the gate very quickly, lots of guitar riffing with some very good keyboards in support, and you got vocals that are kind of a mid-range. The bass is very forward as well, and there's this kind of a piano and keyboard part that kind of intermingle with each other to give this real kind of epic story feel to it, I think. Keyboards are the keyboard part on this song is pretty dominant too, I think. A good opening, kind of very progressive song, I think. The next song, One Man Land, is probably my favorite track on the album. Pretty heavy opening riffing. The bass is very forward. Keyboards and I think they're very tasteful on this song. I like the way they added them in. They fit in there very well. It's got a really catchy beat, great riff, and some strong bass parts on this track as well. The song has kind of got this kind of almost a bounce to it. It's a very bouncy. It's really catchy too. I like it. So I think this is probably my favorite track on the album. You know, there's 2 or 3 other songs that are pretty strong, but I think this one's my favorite of the 4. The next song, Magician, started out with the same kind of periodic but strong guitar parts. Pretty heavy too, I think, for a prog album, I think. Vocals are strong again on this track, but it's very much a guitar dominated track with some strong riffing on it. The next song is called The Hall of the Floaters in the Sky, which is the title track of the album. It's got a little bit of an acoustic guitar opening and then some strong, very clear vocals on this. And then there's a bit of a symphonic sound in there as well, I think. Pretty symphonic, but it's probably my least favorite of the tracks, but I do like it. It's just that when you've got 6 tracks, one of them has to be the most favorite and the other has to be the least favorite. That's just the way it is, right? The last 2 songs I like quite a bit. They're also the 2 longest. I think they're the 2 longest tracks on the album. Never Feel Shame, kind of a synthesizer, and yeah, I just got this real kind of strong over the top kind of synthesizer part at the beginning. Pretty heavy track too. The guitar riffing is really catchy, but very heavy, I think. The vocals are predominant on this track. The keyboard solo is also really good. And you got, I would say the drums and the keyboards are the 2 most dominant instruments on this particular track. This is an epic-like track too. It has an epic-like feel to it. Real catchy tune, I think. And then it ends off with the final track on the album, which is 20th Century Town Dwellers. Another heavy track, pretty heavy, solid track with a real catchy riff to it as well. The guitar solo was the dominant feature on this particular track. It seems to go on for a fairly lengthy time. I don't think of this guy as a great guitar player. I don't think he's the Richie Blackmore of Hungary or anything like that. But he plays, his guitar is pretty dominant and goes on quite a lengthy time on this particular track. And I think he's decent. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good guitar player. I think probably of the and the keyboardist is also very good. But I think the guy that stands out to me as being the best instrumentalist on this album is probably the drummer. I really was impressed with his fills and his drum rolls and different aspects of his drumming. I think he's a pretty damn good drummer, however you want to put it. The vocalist is good. He's a medium range, but it's a kind of an indiscriminate voice. It's not a memorable voice. There's nothing outstanding about it, but it's solid. Some bands, I think the vocalist actually hurts them, and I think they know it. That's why they end up playing a lot of instrumentals. But I tend to be a guy who likes a lot of vocals. When I'm listening to a progressive rock band, I want to hear the vocals. I want to hear the lyrics. I want to hear the stories. That's what I like. Some guys, they like the long instrumental parts without the vocals. And there's some bands, Camel's one of those bands, and Eloy's another one of those bands who maybe they would be better off without vocals, but I still like the vocals anyways. But anyways, this band, he's not in that kind of category where you don't want to listen to him. He's just a bit indiscriminate. Like, he just doesn't have anything that makes his vocals very memorable, but at the same time, they're good. So overall, did I like this album? Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. I liked the last couple he's given me. This one and the Zebra one I liked quite a bit as well. These are both albums I'd like to have, but realistically, it's probably going to be hard to find them, and then if you do find them, it's probably going to be fairly costly. So this might be something I get down the line. Once I start running out of albums here and I have a little bit more money to go looking for those type of albums, I could see me doing it. If you can find this album and you have the money and the resources, I would suggest that you buy it and listen to it. And you're gonna find this is, if you like that style of prog rock, that sound that's very commonplace with progressive rock bands who have some talent, you're going to like this album quite a bit. So there you have it. Omega, the Hall of Floaters in the Sky from 1975. Good solid album. Good instrumentation. Decent vocals. Nice storylines. Nice arrangements. Nice kind of catchy beats. Yeah, a good album all over. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Ben's Album Challenge. You can put your comments about the album if you have any experience with it or anything that you think maybe it might be interesting to know about. You can put those in the comment section below. Please hit the like if you like the video and the album, and subscribe. Subscription is always good. It helps me. It helps you. You can hit the bell and you get reminded of these every time they come out. So I hope you have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the night. Take care and goodbye.